Welcome back into the Rounding Third podcast. I'm Harrison with us tonight. How we doing, bud?
Fantastic. Sounds like better than you, though, but good. How you doing, Nick?
Dude, it has been technical difficulties tonight, so we're a little bit late tonight. Sean is in Aruba enjoying his honeymoon, so he will not be joining us.
He's
tonight.
having a better evening than us, apparently.
Oh, my goodness gracious. This is ridiculous. But all right, we'll get cranking. But before we go start, make sure that you like and follow us on Facebook. You can also subscribe on YouTube. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. All right. Leading off tonight, we have the Rob Manfred news. So he is stepping down in 2029. So we have 5 more years of Rob Manfred. Thank God. I'm all set with him. And then not only does he announce that, he also comes out and says he wants free agency to be a 2-week window in December. Okay, that's cool and all, but what happens if they don't sign in that 2-week window? We just send them to Japan, call it a career? Like, what happens?
Yeah, they're done. They go to the minors or they go to Japan or go play in the, in Canada or something.
I mean, I understand the premise because he wants to fix what's happening right now.
Yes.
Somehow. I totally understand that.
The league views this as a disaster, that there are so many good players still out there.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, it sort of is. Like, I get it.
Not good.
No, but I don't know if you time crunch it to a 2-week window, if that's going to do anything for teams. And then how do you make teams stick to that 2-week window? Like, there's no... You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how you make teams sign in that 2-week window and then just be like, oh, well, Blake Snell doesn't sign in the 2 weeks. Now where does he go?
Yeah, what does he have to, clear waivers and he's available? I mean, the idea of a 2-week window violates everything about free agency. These guys are free to pursue a contract, anybody they want, whenever they want. Blake Snell could decide, I'm not signing until July. I'm taking the spring off. He could do that if he wanted. That's the purpose of free agency. These guys can do what they want. The idea that you're going to put a 2-week clock on this is insane because that defies free agency. And then secondly, to your point, Nick, you're not going to tell these teams they've got to construct their roster in 2 weeks. It's just not going to happen. You're going to turn this into an auction, and then you're going to force players to sign contracts that they don't want to take because time is running out. Like, there's no way on earth this will ever happen because it's a terrible idea. But I do think Manfred's trying to make a statement through the media that let's not do this anymore. Let's figure this out and get these players signed because we look bad having this much talent without a job.
Right. I agree. I just don't understand what the penalty could be if they don't. Maybe that's the pessimistic side of me looking at things, but like, what happens if they don't sign in that 2-week window? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't. And I think the idea of it is to try to, create activity and get this to happen and make the free agency period exciting. Because honestly, this hot stove season, except for the 1 week around Ohtani, has been really boring. And I think Manfred wants to keep MLB in the headlines. He wants to create a flurry of activity. He wants to get these guys paid. He wants to drive up the numbers. He wants to make everything look good. And this is not good for the league. But the flip side of that is, what you're saying, Nick, is say Blake Snell's like the contracts that are offered. And he goes, no, I'm going to pass. I'll see you guys in the spring. Then what? Like, is he still technically a free agent? So the 2-week window means nothing? Is he somehow penalized? Are the teams penalized? Like, what happens then? Or is his salary number set and he can't sign for more than that? I mean, I don't, no matter what you do here, you are taking the free out of the free market component of this and the free out of the free agency component of this.
Right.
And it would never fly. Yeah. And I don't think Manfred is actually proposing this as a real solution.
Right.
I think he's trying to hint through the media to MLB and the Players Association, like, hey, let's cut the crap. Let's sign these guys already. We look foolish having the reigning NL Cy Young Award winner looking for a job. having one of our postseason heroes looking for a job, having all these talented players that are still unemployed. Like, let's figure it out because this isn't good for us. And the Players Association is probably also not enjoying this either because they've got a lot of players who are commanding big dollars that aren't getting paid right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a combination of like the amount of young talent that is coming up mixed with the high dollar amounts that these players are seeking. These teams are sitting back and being like, hey, why would I pay Matt Chapman? Yeah, I'm just throwing a number out there. 5 years, $75 million when I have Gunnar Henderson coming up that I have under control for 6 years. You know,
Right.
like, I mean, like, I'm not going to do that as an organization. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, these guys want top of the line money, but the market's not there, clearly.
No,
I
it's
just,
not.
the teams are staying young. I think these 20-year careers that we see are going to be rare with the amount of talent coming up in the MLB is something that they've never had before. The plethora of young guys that are very, very good from the start and under control.
Right. Well, and what's funny is that you look at like Montgomery, Chapman, Snell. These guys are all 31, basically. You know, they were all born within like 90 days of each other. And Chapman turns 90 or turns 31 here in April.
No wonder no one's signing him if he's 90.
Yeah, yeah, he's not turning 90. Sorry, you know he turns 31 here in April. So you're getting probably a 3 or 4 year window of these guys really at their peak, and then they're going to start to fade away. Right. Anything after a 4-year contract, you're taking the risk of these guys not performing at the same level, especially pitchers. I think Chapman has proven his value really comes from his glove, and he hits a lot of doubles. He's not a big power hitter. I mean, he hit 17 last year. He's a 20-ish home run guy, 20 and 60 with great defense. Is he going to lose a step? Sure. Will he be a third baseman forever? Probably not, but he could be because he's, he's in good shape. He's not a heavier set guy. He's not a foot speed reliant guy. These guys are all 31 though. If they were 28 or 29, it's a different story. I think at 31, you're in the prime years. You've got a few more years left in that window. Timing for these guys probably isn't great. And they all want long-term deals because they want that security that I think a lot of teams aren't going to give them. So the question becomes, where do they settle? And the rumors are that Blake Snell was willing to take less years at a higher average annual value. He wants to get paid. Okay. But how many fewer years? Is he going to take a 3-year deal? 6-year deal? Like, what is he looking for? And I think that the market of last year with Xander getting an 11-year contract and that kind of stuff, I think players are looking for those deals, and teams are seeing how that worked out for the teams that signed him and going, no, we don't want to sign those deals because that's a bad idea.
And to piggyback on that, you look at what Bobby Witt Jr. just signed, right? What was that, a 13-year extension?
It was 11 that could become 14.
11 that could become 14. He's signing for the rest of his career there.
Yep.
Right? Ronald Acuna Jr. is seeking a lifetime contract with the Braves. I feel like you're going to start seeing a lot of players kind of swing in this direction because this should have been one of the best free agent markets we've ever seen.
Yes.
Now, Ohtani aside, right? Of course, Ohtani, that was big news.
Sure.
But you had Snell, you had Montgomery, you had Chapman, you had Soler, you had all these big names, Eddie Rodriguez. Like, I could keep going on and on. This should have been one of the biggest free agent signing periods ever. And it's so far kind of been a dud outside of Ohtani and Yamamoto, I guess, but that he doesn't really count. He's coming from Japan.
Right.
But these guys aren't signing anywhere, and it's making an impact on the market. And these young guys are kind of seeing this, and maybe the young guys' agents are seeing this, and they're like, hey, maybe we do want to stay put because these free agent deals aren't going to be there.
Right. Well,
I don't know. It's a
guess.
I don't know.
You look at Bobby Witt, an 11-year deal could be 14. He's 23.
Right.
So that even if it goes 14 years, he's 37.
Right.
Blake Snell wants a 9-year deal. He's going to be 40.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't think. I mean, and we'll get to this later, I'm sure, but Xander Bogaerts is getting moved to second base in the second year of that contract. Like, that's a huge blow.
Yeah.
To have a guy that getting paid that kind of money at a premier position effectively get demoted.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to give out those contracts anymore because the last couple of years they've not worked. And I think
Yeah.
that these guys want contracts like they saw last year. And they're, on the north side of 30. I don't think a lot of teams are looking to hand those out.
Yeah. Craig says that deal for Bobby Witt's nuts to me. I don't know if I agree. I mean, he was one stolen base away from 30-50 last year.
Yeah.
And the Royals are making moves to build around him. Are they key moves? No. Are the Royals going to win the World Series? Probably not. But it gives you that centerpiece for another 15 years.
Yeah.
That you can build around. But
Bobby Witt Jr. finished 7th in the MVP voting this past season.
Yeah.
Like, this kid had a massive year in his second year in the league. Year before that, he finished 4th in the Rookie of the Year voting. Had a solid season.
Yeah.
He's only going to get better. I actually think the deal might be nuts for Bobby Witt to sign because 5 years down the road,
maybe that's
5 years down the road, that average annual value is going to look low.
Yeah.
Unless right now
unless there isn't a free agent market for him. I mean, there probably is because he's going to be a top echelon shortstop.
Sure.
But like, unless you're Garrett Cole, you're not going to get, or you know what I mean? Like the top guy at that position, you're not going to get top dollar. The rest of the free, and it's showing right now. Like, all right, Blake Snell goes 5 innings. Was he the reigning Cy Young? Yeah. But I can find a guy for much cheaper that can get me 5 innings an outing.
Yeah, and I don't disagree. I think that, the days, and Garrett Cole certainly an anomaly. Justin Verlander is an anomaly. Those guys that consistently give you 7 or 8, eat up innings, get outs. Those guys are a dying breed. A lot of these guys are not built for that anymore.
No.
So I do think a guy like Bobby Witt Jr. has had 2 monster seasons in his career. That's a big deal to sign, but in the grand scheme of things, he was going to come out as a free agent in 3 years anyways, probably get paid even more.
Yep.
So the Royals gave him a little bit of money early. He's getting a little bit of money early and giving up a little bit of money late. So I think the deal probably ends up being a pretty good one for Kansas City and probably decent for Bobby Witt. And I think that for a guy at 23 years old, an 11-year contract makes sense. A guy at 31 who's a pitcher that can only give you 5 innings, a 9-year deal makes no sense.
Yeah.
And so either Blake Snell is going to let somebody call his bluff and sign a shorter term deal, or he's going to sit. But we've had 2 years of like ridiculous contracts signed that teams are paying for already. Xander Bogaerts is a great example. That was a bad contract. We said it when he signed it.
Yep.
They're already paying for it.
And they already moved him to second base because
they're already dealing with it. So I just think teams are seeing that and going, Aaron Judge, first year of his 9-year deal. Not a great season for Aaron Judge. Missed a bunch of time. So I think teams are looking at those long-term deals just going, maybe I don't want to be one of those GMs that gives out a 9-year deal to a guy who doesn't perform. I mean, look at Trout.
Right.
Trout hasn't played more than 120 games in 5 years.
Yeah.
After signing that massive deal. I mean, this is where we're at. I think the days of giving these massive contracts out are kind of at the end because those long deals that have been given haven't worked out well. Yeah. And Craig, you're right. Judge has traditionally missed a lot of time, and they're paying him for that 60 home run season when he was healthy, which is the anomaly.
Yeah.
I mean, Xander Bogaerts was already showing signs of decline when he got that contract.
Yeah. And baseball was, and I think we're starting to switch now. Baseball was the ultimate, you get paid for what you did.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Now they're starting to look at it like, okay, yes, Blake Snell was a Cy Young Award winner last year, but 9 years, like, we're not going to pay him. Like, it doesn't make sense for our team to pay him right now.
No.
Like, I don't know. I think it's starting to switch a little bit.
Yeah,
I think we're going to see these longer term deals for these younger guys, like your Witts, your Acuñas. You're going to want to keep them, Devers. You want to keep them in your franchise for their career. You don't want to see them go.
Yeah,
I think baseballs are switching to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the days of the loyalty are gone unless you put these guys under a long-term contract. I mean, you look at a guy like Jeter who just kept re-signing with the Yankees. He wasn't going anywhere.
Right.
But that's different, and that then you got A-Rod who bounced around trying to find a home.
Yeah.
Even at his level of talent.
Right.
Got the big
And-
contract and kind of wore out his welcome in Texas. But it's just I think the days of those long-term deals are gone, except for those true franchise players that they're going to lock up when they're young. Bad example, I know, but Wander Franco, same sort of deal.
Right. But you're
He
going to
was
get
the
that.
cornerstone.
But you're going to get that. You're going to get some misses if you end up
Sure.
signing these young kids. Like you look at Evan Longoria, the team didn't miss, but Evan Longoria did because he undersold his value. Like, so you're going to get misses on the player side. You're going to get misses on the team side when you do that. And, like
100%.
you just don't know injury wise how these guys will hold up. So there is a big risk, but there's a big risk for both sides. It's not just a one-sided thing. So
yeah, and Craig brings up another good point. Giancarlo Stanton, that was another long contract that was signed after he kind of hit his peak. That's looking like a really bad deal too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you go down the list of these long deals that have been given out. Stanton has not been a great deal long term. Bogarts is already a bad deal in the second year. Judge got off to a bad start. Trout's deal has not been very good. As good as he's been, the deal hasn't been good because he's missed so much time. There's just not a great track record of these long-term deals working out. And I think GMs are getting smart to that. And these guys don't want to be the one that throws that big contract out there and saddles an organization for a decade with a bad deal when they're getting fired and leaving that behind as their legacy.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, just to bring it back full circle to Rob Manfred, though, I do believe something needs to be done with the free agency. I don't have the answer for it. A 2-week window is also not the answer, just like you said, because if they don't sign, like what happens? Do they automatically go back to their old team and they have to sign an arbitration deal? Like then it's not free agency. Like, well, and the Players Association won't go for that either.
Well, let's talk about the elephant in the room here when it comes to free agency. Because of what the Yankees and the Dodgers have done in this offseason, a lot of teams looking around going, I'm not going to be competitive no matter what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I can't spend that kind of money. And Blake Snell doesn't get me there.
Right.
So I think that MLB has a competitive issue that's shrinking the market for these guys because why am I going to pay $30 million a year for Blake Snell so I can finish in third place?
Right.
And I can't
the wild card.
Right. I can't afford more than Blake Snell. So why would I bring him in? So because of the competitive imbalance that we've seen start back up, because baseball did a good job there for a lot of years, keeping some level of parity. You had different teams in the playoffs. You had a number of new World Series winners. And this offseason's kind of like thrown that away because you've got the Dodgers that have gone crazy. You've got the Yankees that have made some big moves. And the two of them have really kind of dominated the headlines. And a lot of teams looking around going, I can't compete with that. What's the point? I'm not going to sign anybody.
Yeah, I agree. Craig says also it needs a hard cap. The luxury tax, right? All those big market teams are blowing through it anyways, or they're finding a way with a deferred money to get around it. You hit the nail right on the head, Harrison. It is a competitive imbalance issue. These lower market teams, your Royals, your Tigers, your Rockies, you name it.
Everybody. I mean,
right. Everybody under the top, we'll say 6 teams, just to say.
Yeah, there's 5 or 6 markets that realistically have a shot.
They could spend the money on Blake Snell, but you said, like, why waste that money to, like you said, finish in last in your division? It doesn't make any sense to do that. Or what's more frustrating, you have a team like the Red Sox that can spend the money and can pull their team out of the basement and just don't.
Like, but look at in reality, and this is going to make me want to throw up, but I'm going to defend the Red Sox a little bit.
Oh God,
the Red Sox could go if the Red Sox today signed Snell and Montgomery, they still probably finish third. So I mean, I think when you look at it from that perspective of Craig Breslow, I could spend all the money I got. I'm still not going to win this division.
Right.
And I'm hoping to sneak into the wild card.
But do those players ultimately bring you the fans that you've lost in this offseason, though? Like, Red Sox Nation's pissed off. Like they're really mad that their
They are
team
not
has
happy.
done not
As a
happy at
member
all.
of the nation, we're not happy. But at the
Like
same time, you go get Snell and Montgomery, we're still a third place team.
I agree, but
I feel
you
I
could
feel
get
like
into a wild card spot and
yeah,
make some noise in the
I
playoffs.
feel like
Though.
you could make those signings, build some goodwill with your fans, bring them back, and make for an exciting season. But at the end of the day, you ain't gonna win.
No,
You
no.
just it is so unlikely that you're going to win because it's been so stacked against you. So I think there's a competitive issue at play here where teams are going, nah, it's not worth it. Let somebody else sign them. I'm going to keep my budget and try to make a little money here, which
Yeah.
I think you're going to see baseball push fans away with that imbalance because you're going to see a lot of teams that maybe weren't it last year, like the Twins.
Mm-hmm.
The Twins are saying, no, we're cutting payroll. The Twins are going to fall out. And you sign Carlos Correa back. You're going to fall out of contention again. You're going to see a lot of fan bases that are really not interested this coming season.
I think possibly too, like if you fix the deferred money problem, right? The Dodgers are done spending after Ohtani.
Yeah, that was it. They were done.
If you don't let them defer 98% of his contract till the year 3000, the Dodgers are done spending, which then makes more opportunity for other teams to spend on the other free agents that the Dodgers signed.
Or better yet, let them defer the money, but charge all of it against the hard salary cap.
Well, right.
It doesn't matter when you pay it.
Right.
You want to pay Shohei Ohtani's great grandkids? I don't care.
Right.
But for the 10 years he's there, you're getting charged $70 million against that cap.
Yep.
Because that's the contract.
That's fair too. Yep, that's fair too.
But you want to pay him in the year 3000, go for it. Good luck to you.
Yeah. But then that
way,
by
then I'll be getting paid in friggin' some sort of digital cryptocurrency. But
yeah.
But like you have to have a level where this stops because like we saw it last year with Cohen. Cohen drove that payroll of the Mets to the moon, and basically laughed at the penalty. He paid over $100 million in penalties, and was very happy to pay it. He was like, "Yeah, this is what we do."
Yeah, but like I'm just saying, like if that counts against the cap for Ohtani, Yamamoto doesn't go to the Dodgers.
No,
if
Teoscar Hernandez doesn't come, Yamamoto doesn't come.
Right.
They're done. They make one move with Ohtani and that's it. They're out.
Yeah. Which I mean, for your team, like I would want my team. Like if Ohtani's the guy you're gonna get, then go for it.
And in a hard cap situation, Ohtani makes more sense because he fills two positions.
Right. Exactly.
It's like you can justify getting away with that, but
that could possibly fix the competition imbalance if you don't defer the money.
Yeah, MLB.
Maybe that's the start to the fix.
Yeah, this free agency thing is a joke. That doesn't fix anything. MLB has to get at the heart of the matter, which is they have too many teams that are in smaller markets. They have too many teams that are already out of contention because of what other teams have done, and the competitive imbalance is back. I mean, we remember all those years of the evil empire, and the Yankees would just go buy any player they wanted, and they'd shove it up everybody's hoo-ha and make the playoffs. We're back to that.
Mm-hmm.
The Yankees are doing that. The Dodgers are doing that. San Diego tried to do it last year. The Mets tried to do it last year, but you've got a couple of teams that are really kind of railroading it. And then the teams around them are making moves to stay competitive. But if you're a fan of the Cardinals, Reds, Pirates, Marlins, it's already over. The season's done.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. And if you look what the Mets and the Padres did last year, they're teams that did all that spending and crashed and burned. It didn't work.
It didn't. And we're doing it again.
Right. But and the Padres can't financially recover right now. They're struggling. The Dodgers.
The Padres had to take out a loan in order to keep running the team.
Right. The Dodgers can financially recover if this doesn't work. That's the difference, right? The big 100%. Market teams can recover. Cohen's just like, it's just $350 million. I make that tomorrow. So he can financially recover. But there's other organizations that, we bring up the Rockies. Say they just spend and spend and spend. They get Ohtani. They get Yamamoto. They defer all the money. And then it doesn't work. The Rockies fold. Like, that's it. That's the end of the Colorado Rockies.
So let's do this.
The difference.
So AL East. Baltimore and the Yankees are good. Tampa Bay is in the bubble. Toronto and Boston are out. In the Central, Minnesota's on the bubble. Detroit's out. Cleveland's out. The White Sox are out. Kansas City's in the bubble. In the West, Houston and Texas are good. Seattle's out. Angels are out. Oakland's out. In the NL East, Atlanta and Philly are good. Miami's out. The Mets are out. Washington's out. In the NL Central, Milwaukee's in the bubble. The Cubs are in the bubble. Cincinnati's out. Pittsburgh's out. St. Louis is out.
Do you think Cincinnati? I think Cincinnati's bubble. That's just me.
We'll see. We'll see. So we'll say we get 3 teams in the bubble. NL West, Dodgers are obviously good. Arizona's good. San Diego's out. San Francisco's out. Colorado's out. So you have today, February 19th of 2024. Spring training is not even a week old, and half the league's already basically out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
They have no shot, 0 shot of competing.
Yeah.
That is where MLB didn't want to be anymore.
Mm-hmm. And I get it. You still have to go out and play the game and blah, 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 blah. But we can play the law of averages, and those teams are going to be at the top. It's 162 games. Those teams are clearly better, and it's going to come out in the 162 game wash. Like
you could spot the Minnesota Twins a 2-run lead for every single game of a 7-game series, and they are never going to beat the Yankees, the Diamondbacks, the Dodgers.
Right.
Keep going. They're just not going to. They're not going to. And that is a good ball club.
Yeah.
It is. MLB's put itself back in the mess that it was in, 20 years ago that it thought it got out of.
Yeah. And I mean, I get that we've had different World Series champions for the last 20 years, but I think we're going to start seeing that go away.
Yep.
Like
they fixed it. And we've had a good run we have had a good run. We've had a lot of new teams winning. I mean, hell, the Texas Rangers won their first in franchise history.
Right.
Like we've had a good run over the last 15 or 20 years of different teams winning. The Red Sox took 4 of them, but that team had been dry for 86 years. So they're making up for lost time. But other than that, there really hasn't been many repeats.
Right.
In the last, I mean, you have to go even further back to the Yankees in the 90s. MLB had gotten away from all that nonsense of stacking it to the top of the league. And now we're going right back to it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, how it gets fixed. Is it Manfred that is causing all this? Is it him trying to make all these changes?
I think Manfred's just sitting there trying to figure out what the hell's going on. I think he's in the same boat the rest of us are. What is happening? Like, why are we here?
Yeah. Yeah. How did we get here?
Right. How did everything, this offseason the league was on a nice path forward. It had all these teams that were in contention. I mean, hell, the Reds were relevant again.
Right.
The Pirates were relevant again.
Right.
The friggin' Orioles won a division. Like,
right.
MLB was, at the end of the 2023 season, MLB was probably in the best position it's been in a long time in terms of parity and quality of the game.
Yep.
And then this offseason took everything and just derailed it.
Yeah.
And if I'm Rob Manfred, I'm sitting there going, what just happened? This is like The Hangover when you wake up the next morning and you're trying to figure out why the hell there's a leopard and all the stuff in your room. You're like, what the hell happened? Like this is the morning after The Hangover.
I mean, we were sitting at the beginning of last year being like, man, like he's changing the game. We're starting with that runner on second where we're making the bases bigger. Where
ticket sales and ratings are up. I mean, the game is looking good, and it just fell off a cliff.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm lost at how to fix it. At least the free agent market part of it. And maybe that's how it rolls. Like it just next year, everybody could be signed by December 1st. Like
if team owners aren't pissed coming into spring training at what just happened this offseason, then they really don't care about the game.
Right.
And you know what? As a team owner, you don't have to care about the game as a team owner. This is a business. Run it like a business, make your money, more power to you. But if you're a guy like Cohen, who's also a baseball fan, and you're seeing what just happened this offseason, they should all be pissed. They should be storming Rob Manfred's office, wanting to sit down and tear that CBA apart. Because the Dodgers just absolutely bamboozled the league with what they're doing. And they're going to pay a penalty and all the owners are going to get a cut of it and whoop-de-doo. But what just happened this offseason set baseball back 20 years.
Yeah, I agree.
And they should all be pissed about it.
Yep. All right. Well, let's move on from that Rob Manfred bitch fest for a little bit, and we'll move on to some free agents that did sign today. Whit Merrifield officially signed his 1-year, $8 million deal with the Phillies. Sure, I mean, another nice
Yeah.
piece for the Phillies, and he's going to fill in utility there for them. Maybe even take over the second base job, but I don't think he's going to start over. Who's there right now? I'm blanking.
Stott. Stott. Yeah, Bryson
Yes.
Stott,
Yeah,
who had a monster season last year.
right. So he's not going to start over Stott.
No,
But-
I don't think Merrifield's a starter. I think he's going to be like a Brock
Yep.
Holt super utility guy.
Absolutely, because he can
Which is
play
good.
anywhere on the
He
field.
can play anywhere.
Right.
He's fast. Like he can come into games late and as a pinch runner. He can pinch hit. He can play. He can do everything. So
Yeah.
But again, is that the deal Whit Merrifield thought he was going to get? No, but it's all he had.
I'm yes and no on him. I mean, he didn't have a great year last year.
He
And
did.
he's not the player that he was in Kansas City.
No,
So-
I think he definitely had a drop off. I still think he's a better ball player than 1 year, $8 million to be a utility guy. But at the same time, he's probably down. He's in the last few years of his career as well, so he's not necessarily the same player he was.
Yeah.
I think he was looking for probably a 3-year deal to finish off his career somewhere.
I would probably agree with that. The Boston Red Sox do make a free agent signing today. They sign Liam Hendriks to 2 years, $10 million. Yes, Liam Hendriks is coming off Tommy John. And
They signed a
won't pitch.
pitcher that can't pitch.
I mean, I'm not shocked.
No, I mean,
But I
just the irony of that signing was what got me today.
it's so great. I love Liam Hendriks.
Love
I
him.
his story, the backstory coming back from cancer, and then I mean the heartbreaker of the 3 weeks later having to get Tommy John.
Brutal. It was gut wrenching.
Yeah, absolutely killer. But
You know what I hate, Nick? We got a Yankees fan like Craig who can actually dump on us again. Like, what is this all about?
yeah, you know what? We're dumping on him too, Craig. So it doesn't even
Yeah.
hurt us at this
I mean,
point.
come on, Craig. Like, you guys haven't relevant in 25 years. I get you have your moment here because we're a mess. But my goodness,
But yeah, so Liam Hendriks is slated to come back late 2024.
yeah, this is another one of those James
but-
Paxton contracts. You're
Yep.
you're gonna get nothing from him in year one. You know that, but you're now protecting your rights to him in the second year, and you hope you get your money worth in the second year because you're not
Yep.
paying him a lot.
Right.
But he is such a great guy and such a great story. And I think he'll be
Mhm.
the Boston fans will love this guy.
Oh, they will eat him alive.
They will love him.
Yeah. Not eat him alive, but you knew what I meant.
Yeah,
They'll
no, I
eat him
get
up.
it. They'll eat him
Yeah.
up. Yep, I got
Yeah.
you.
So the Brewers also kind of make the same deal with Brandon Woodruff. So he's on the shelf too. They signed him to a 2-year deal. I don't know the specs on that, but it looks very similar to the Liam Hendriks because he's out. I don't know if it was Tommy John or a shoulder. I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure Hendricks was Tommy John. It's a 15-month recovery, which puts him like end of September, or no, sorry, end of August, early September to come back. I think.
Yeah, I was talking about Woodruff.
Oh, Woodruff. Sorry, Woodruff. I believe was a shoulder.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. But I think he's on the same idea. So 2-year deal for him.
Yes,
then-
Woodruff was shoulder surgery in October. He's
what
expected
it
to
was.
miss pretty much all of the 2024 season.
Okay.
They
So,
do
yeah,
not. They do not expect him to pitch, but if he's ready to go, he will try.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, and then this one, I absolutely love this signing by the San Francisco Giants today. They sign Pablo Sandoval to a minor league deal. Let's go, San
I saw that. It's like, didn't they do it last year too? They brought him in, they cut
Probably.
him like 2 weeks later.
Yeah,
I mean, if they could just teach the man how to do a push up from the buffet table, he'd still be playing.
I love
But
it.
the man just
Bring it.
he can't help himself. He is,
Nope.
and he was so good, and then he came to Boston was so bad.
Yeah. So
That was one of
Yeah.
the worst contracts I've ever seen.
and Boston's had a lot of them. Yeah,
I know Carl Crawford. You could argue that
David
Adrian
Price.
Gonzalez, David Price, the end of Josh Beckett. Like you can keep going. Chris Sale.
My goodness, but
We can keep going if you want, but I don't really want to.
yeah. All right. We are going to move on to our trivia segment of the show here. I did switch it up a little bit this week. So we're going to name the player by their career path.
I really
Okay.
miss my blurred pictures.
They also they also do have stats and the years they played on there. So you will see that as well.
Who do you think I am,
Okay.
Jeff Bassan? I can get these.
I think you should be able to get most of these. I kept them
Great.
on the simpler side.
Now that you said that, I'll get none of them.
Okay. Well, if you would like to comment, if you know what they are,
Please
you guys
do.
can definitely throw it in the chat and help Harrison out here. So
Let's do
here
it.
we go. Here is the first one. Oakland Athletics, Atlanta Braves, San Francisco Giants, 99 to 2015, four-time All-Star.
Oh, wow. Oakland, Atlanta, San Francisco.
Mm-hmm. Starting pitcher. I'll even give you the position. He was in that group of Oakland A's pitchers.
I'm trying to remember
that
which one
were
it was. Was it Zito
really
that went
good.
that path?
Not Zito. Zito did pitch for the Giants, but not Atlanta.
Oh, that's right. Hudson.
Yes, Timmy
Tim
Hudson.
I was like, Hudson, Mulder, and Zito. Which one of those guys went that path?
Yeah. Mulder ended up in St. Louis,
I think St.
right?
Louis, yeah. Then he was gone. He kind of fizzled out.
Yeah. All right. Here's the next one.
Oh, my Lord.
Oakland, Texas, Boston, back to Oakland, the Blue Jays, the Rays, Yankees, and White Sox.
Holy
85 to 2001. Rookie of the Year in 85. He was also an MVP and 6 All-Stars.
Canseco?
Yes, sir.
I'm like, the only guy I can think of that would have won an MVP that early for the A's was Canseco.
Yep. And
God,
obviously, I had to pick that picture. So,
oh man, that dude played everywhere. I will never forget. I was at a game at Fenway when he was in Boston. He had a home run to the monster. It like just barely got into the screen because the screen was still there back when he was there.
Seats.
And I swear to God, that home run took 3 minutes to get out because it was hit about a mile high. Like it was the longest slow. He was at second base before the ball hit the net.
It's crazy.
It was an absolute moonshot.
Yeah, it just gets it up above the lights and you don't even see it.
It took forever. It took forever.
Crazy. All right. Next one. This one might be a little bit tougher. Yankees in Seattle. 87 to 2001. 1 All-Star, 1 Gold Glove. And I will tell you, he spent most of his career in Seattle. He had only 2 years as a Yankee, then got traded to Seattle and stayed there for his entire career.
Is it Buhner?
It is Jay Buhner. Nice
I just
job,
love Jay. I
Harrison.
loved me some Jay Buhner.
Yeah.
That guy
Jay
killed the
Buhner.
Red Sox too. I'll never forget him falling into the friggin' bullpen, robbing the Red Sox late in the game.
Yep. Martinez, that was a good guess, but not Martinez.
Yeah, that's
Jay
a good one
Buhner.
too.
All right.
Loved Buhner.
Cubs, Rangers, Orioles, Rangers, Orioles.
What? What? Palmeiro.
Yep. Rafael Palmeiro. You said you were going
All
to
right,
struggle
all right,
with these,
all right.
Harrison. Yeah,
You're taking it easy
Rafael
on me. These
Palmeiro.
aren't like really tough.
Yeah, I told
I
you.
mean, they're
that very
tough.
pleasing.
The career path sometimes is tough to remember, but Palmeiro is the only guy I can remember on all those teams.
Yeah. Rafael Palmeiro. All right. California Angels.
Oh, nice.
Milwaukee Brewers, Rockies, Reds, and then Red Sox to end it. 1988, 2001, 4 All-Stars, 1 Silver Slugger.
Oh boy.
Colorado, I think, is the big hint here. He went here for their expansion.
Oh.
The next clue will totally give him away, so I'll let you think on it a little bit.
Give me a second. California Angels, Brewers, Rockies, Reds, Red Sox. And his career with the Red Sox. Was he with the Red Sox for long?
1 year.
Oh, great.
Might have only been a half year, I think, if I remember when I looked up the stats.
What position?
Right field.
Oh. I was thinking it was an infielder. Okay.
Or outfield. He probably bounced around left and right. Corner outfield spots.
What was his name? Played left field for the Angels. Hit the big home run in the playoffs. Was it Dave Henderson?
No.
What's his name?
All right. Next clue. His son is playing right now in the MLB.
Oh, is this Witt?
Nope. Another son.
Oh no. Oh crap. Bichette.
Yes, Dante Bichette.
I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was not with the Red Sox very long.
No, I think it was a half a year.
Yeah,
or
and he was
a year
broken
at the
down
deadline.
by then.
Yeah. All right.
I forgot he
Next.
played with the Angels.
Yeah, like to start his career in
Yeah.
the Brewers, and then the Rockies got him in the expansion draft.
Yeah, it's the Angels that tripped me up.
Yeah. All right. I think this one's a fairly easy one too. Indians, Red Sox, Tigers, 2002 to 2018. 5 All-Stars, 2 Silver Sluggers. If I give you the position, I think you'll get it immediately.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. So Indians to Red Sox, that was not a common one. Manny did that.
Mm-hmm. And then there was another biggish name that we were all pumped when he came in.
Vic.
Yes, Victor Martinez.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, who else did that? Yeah, it was Vic.
Yep. Yep. Victor Martinez.
He was good for the Red Sox too.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I think this one's also another easy one. There's a big clue in here that gives it away.
Okay.
Cubs, Braves, Cubs, Dodgers, Padres. Dodgers, 86 to 2008. 4 Cy Youngs, 8 All-Stars, 18 Gold Gloves.
I mean, those are Maddox's numbers.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
I don't remember Maddox in San Diego. I really don't.
Yeah. Just a end of the career type thing.
And it's funny because like you've got those players that, you know, like they spent so much of their career with one team, you just forget kind of where else they were.
Right.
You know, people forget Maddox was with the Cubs for a while.
Yeah.
Was very effective there too. But like the Padres, I don't remember him in a Padres uniform.
I mean, nobody watched the Padres at that
Well,
point.
no, good point.
TV wasn't a thing. So,
yeah, that's true. And when you go back to 80s and 90s, you didn't get a chance to watch West Coast games ever, period.
No. Right. Yeah, until they were on your teams, you know, and there wasn't even interleague. So it's like you never saw them.
Never saw them.
Yeah. But here we
it's
go.
Like I'm so disappointed. Like I never got to see Tony Gwynn play live more than a couple of times.
Right. Yeah. All right. Next one here, we got Mets, Dodgers, Giants, Yankees, 83 to 99. Rookie of the year in 83. 8 All-Stars, 2 Silver Sluggers.
Strawberry?
Yes, sir. Nice job. Daryl Strawberry.
Getting his number retired.
Yep. Which still don't know how I feel about that, but
you know, yeah.
To each their own.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. That's a tough one.
Yep. All right. Brewers, Blue Jays, Twins, 78 to 98. Hall of Famer, 7 All-Stars, 4 Silver Sluggers.
Yount?
Nope.
No, it's right. Yount didn't go anywhere else.
He was very well known for both the Brewers and the Twins, but he was on the Blue Jays World Series rosters in 92 and 93 when they won.
Oh, okay. Brewers, Blue Jays, Twins. Carter. Who else is on those rosters? Carter, Borders, Steeb.
It's a guy I kept forgetting that he played for the Blue Jays during that time.
What position?
Infielder, DH.
Infielder, DH. Well, boy.
I would say this guy's a lesser known Hall of Famer, and he shouldn't be because his career was outrageous.
Say it's
really
it's not Baines who went to the White Sox.
No.
Trammell, no. Yount, no.
It's hard to give you any other clues, really.
I know it's like Hall of Famer should be a giveaway, but like there's so many of these guys that it's like.
Anybody in the chat have a guess?
Henkin? No,
he's
not a Hall of Famer. Steve's not a Hall of Famer.
And Henkin was a pitcher.
Oh yeah, you said infielder. I'm still rattling through the roster.
This is
Molitor, duh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I always forget he was on that Blue Jays roster.
Kirby Puckett. I like the guess, Craig.
Yeah.
Molitor. I do not think of Molitor as a Blue Jay.
No.
I really don't.
But he was a big part of that Blue Jays team in the middle there. Those World Series runs.
Yeah, he was really good.
Okay.
All right.
Mets, Marlins, Blue Jays, Rockies, Mets. 2003, 2018. 4 All-Stars, Silver Slugger, and a batting title. I always think of this guy as a New York Mets.
Michael Kadire.
Nope.
The Rockies in the batting title. I'm like, I'm just going to throw that one out there.
I mean, very well-known New York Met.
2003 to 2018. Did he win the batting title in New York?
I believe so.
That's an odd path.
He only played for the Rockies for, I think, 1 year.
Yeah,
Most of his career was with the Mets.
What position?
Shortstop. It's going to give it away.
Oh, Reyes.
Yes, Jose
Yeah.
Reyes.
Yep. I was like, man, that's a weird path. But yeah, I remember Reyes kind of hopped around a little bit there at the end.
Yeah. All right. Dodgers, Mariners, Red Sox, Rangers, 1998, 2018, Hall of Famer, 4 All-Stars, 5 Gold Gloves, 2 Platinum Gloves, 4-time Silver Slugger.
Was he in Boston long?
1 year.
Yeah, of course.
And we were pissed that we didn't re-sign him because he had a monster year that year.
Oh.
Come on, man. We were talking about this guy like the last couple weeks because some big news just came out about him.
Big news just came out about him.
Uh-huh. Positive news. Has to do with the HOF. Third baseman.
Oh, Beltre, duh.
Yeah.
like what? I'm thinking like that has nothing to do with Helton and those guys. That's right, Beltre.
Yeah,
I always forget he started in LA. He was really good in LA.
Yeah, he was very good. I mean, he was good everywhere he went.
He was so good everywhere. Yeah, he was a beast in Boston.
Oh, I was so mad when they didn't re-sign him. I was like, come on, what are we doing? But all right,
man.
Here we go.
What on earth is this?
Padres, Blue Jays, Orioles, Indians, Mets, White Sox, Diamondbacks, White Sox.
Oh my God.
88 to 2004, Hall of Famer, 12 All-Stars, 10 Gold Gloves, 4 Silver Sluggers.
Luis Gonzalez? No. Not Hall of Famer. Padres, Blue Jays, Orioles. That's a lot of friggin' teams for Hall of Famer. Mets, White Sox.
This is Roberto Alomar.
Oh my! Go back. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Holy
He was
cow.
on the Blue Jays team, the World Series.
I remember the Blue Jays. I remember the Orioles. I remember the Indians. I do not remember the White Sox and Diamondbacks.
I know. All the way at the end.
I remember the Padres either.
Yep.
I'm looking at all those teams going, how does a guy that with those credentials end up on so many teams?
Yeah. Nuts. I couldn't believe it either.
Yeah, I do not remember half of those teams.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. Royals, Brewers, Angels, Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Astros, Royals. 2004 to question mark?
This is Greinke.
Yes, it's Zach Greinke. The coolest part about him is the Cy Young, 6 All-Stars, 6 Gold Gloves, 2 Silver Sluggers.
I know. That's cracked me up.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy.
Yeah. All right. Mariners, Indians, Giants, Rangers, White Sox, Blue Jays. 89 to 2012. 3 All-Stars, 11 Gold Gloves.
Huh, another guy, a lot of teams for those stats.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of seasons too.
This guy arguably could be in the Hall of Fame because of his defense. Hence the 11 Gold Gloves.
Right. So who are your defensive wizards in that time frame? There was Vizquel, but he didn't
Yes.
go. Is it?
Yep, Omar Vizquel.
Go back up. The White Sox and Blue Jays?
Again, towards the end of his career.
Good Lord.
Yep. But yeah, you think of him
Oh,
on the
man.
Indians.
He was
I
a
mean, that's
human highlight reel.
yeah.
He was an Indian. As far as I'm concerned, he was an Indian.
Yeah, and that's that. Like,
End of story.
Right.
like end of story.
Yep. All right.
The Robbie Alomar one still has my mind
Yeah, so
blown.
Josh got it. Omar. Yeah, Omar Vizquel. Nice job.
Good one. But the
All right.
Robbie Alomar one, my mind is still blown from that.
Yeah.
I may not recover.
All right. So I also kind of had a little fun when I came home from work because we were going to do a different segment, but our third guy is, sitting on a beach, hammered in Aruba. So I had to switch it up real quick. I put together these little tiny like player puzzles where there'll be two unrelated pictures, and you got to tell me who the name of the player is. All right.
Oh,
so
this will be wild.
It's going to be wild, but let's see how we do with these ones. So these are MLB player puzzles. So this first one, for instance,
All right.
is
so you got Steve Martin and a picture of Lyons. So it's Steve
Yeah.
Lyons.
yes, it's Steve Lyons.
I hope they're all this easy.
So I made these ones pretty simple since it was the first time I ever did it. So
And
All right.
what do we know Steve Lyons for?
dropping his pants on
base.
first base. Yep, I almost put that picture on instead of his old one. This one might be a little bit tougher, but here we go.
Move on.
It is Mo Vaughn. Yes.
I got that one immediately. I
Yeah,
loved
so
it.
Moira from Nickelodeon, Guts, and Vince Vaughn.
God.
Yeah, so
Can
Mo-
I just say for a minute, Guts, the most underrated show of all time.
Oh my god! And all the kids on it sucked. They were so bad.
Oh,
I
so
was like,
frustrating to watch. I know I could have
Yeah.
ripped that thing apart. Give me the
Oh,
aggro
for-
crag. I'm on it.
yeah, for sure. Yes, Mo Vaughn.
Oh, that's a good one.
All right, here's the next one.
So we got Dave from Wendy's.
Yep.
You got a gavel or a judge.
Uh-huh. Or also known as a
Oh, Dave Justice.
David Justice. Yes.
Craig got it in the chat. Nice job, Craig.
Yes, David Justice. Nice job.
That's a
Craig.
good one. I'm like, I would have pieced that one together eventually. Craig beat me to it. I
Yeah.
like it.
All right, here we go. I think this one's an easier one, but here we go.
Oh my goodness. What? So we got Mark Wahlberg, Texas. Is that an upload or a send?
Or I can't really say it. It's a share.
Oh, Mark Teixeira. Yep.
Mark Teixeira. Yeah. Yep. Mark Teixeira.
like- What, is that like an Apple symbol? Because I don't know what that is.
I think it's just like the regular share symbol, isn't it? Almost
Yeah.
on everything. Like it might. The box I think is actually supposed to be pointing
Yeah.
to the right, but
I like that.
whatever.
That's pretty good. Mark
Mark
Teixeira.
Teixeira. All right.
Oh goodness. Oh no, Nomar Garcia Parra.
Yeah. So no more
No,
Cherry Garcia Parra. Yeah.
Yeah, that's baby sign language more.
Yep.
No more Garcia. Yeah, that's pretty freaking good.
Yeah. No more Garcia Parra.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah. I knew you would like that one.
Yeah.
He's your favorite player of all
Favorite
time.
player of all
so,
time.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
This one might be a tough one because you might not know who this first guy is.
I have no idea if he's got medals on.
It's Lou Gaines.
Oh, Greg Louganis. Okay.
Yep.
Greg Screaming Loon.
Those aren't loons.
Oh, sorry, they're ducks. Sorry. Greg Screaming Duck.
No.
Lou.
No, it's Greg. Come on, you got it. Who's the most famous Greg in MLB history? Greg
Maddox.
Maddux.
Oh,
Yes,
Mad Ducks. I got
Mad
it.
Ducks.
Mad.
Yes, Greg
I got was
Maddux.
going for the screaming. Nice one, Craig.
Yes. Greg
Greg
Maddux.
Mad Ducks, of course.
Yeah. Like that one.
I do like that one. I love the fact that I had no idea who the first guy was. I was not off
Yeah.
to a good start on this one.
Yeah. All right.
Craig's got my back. Chipper Jones.
Yeah, that was a
Yep.
no brainer right there.
Yep. The chipper
That
gave
was
it away.
yeah. I
There's
didn't
only
know how
one
else it was
chipper.
gonna- Yeah, for sure. Chipper Jones.
Craig likes the game.
I'll have to keep putting them together. This
Yeah.
was actually kind of fun to do.
This is fun.
All
Oh
right.
crap. Shohei Ohtani.
Yep, Shohei Ohtani.
I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, so we got a show, hey, and then the symbol O, a tanning bed for tan and knee. So O tan knee.
Yeah, I get the
Ohtani.
last name first. I'm like, is that a stage?
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, Shohei Ohtani.
Nice.
So that's all I had for those.
Those were awesome.
Yeah. All right. I didn't know how those were gonna go, but I'm glad you guys like those.
Yeah, we'll have to make sure we cut this up in a reel so people didn't catch the show can
I had I had a couple more, but I left them off. But yeah, those were fun. We'll
so
have to do
did you find like a site that gives you ideas for these, or just like make these yourself?
I did it myself.
Oh God.
Yeah. So I'll just tell you the one it like gave me the idea was Steve Sachs. I was gonna do Steve-O and then minus the O, a saxophone minus a phone, but I couldn't like get the plus and the minuses in there without it
Gotcha.
looking like all weird. So I just did it a little bit differently, but
That's funny.
yeah, I enjoyed doing them. So
That was cool.
that was fun. All right. We're gonna wrap up the show here with other news from around the league, just kind of wrap up this week's. So came out today that the Nationals aren't selling. The Lerners aren't going to sell the Washington Nationals after all. So they must have found some reprieve, because I know they were still paying for 2019.
Yeah.
And probably still are, but they don't have to sell to hopefully financially recover. So, and signing guys like Joey Gallo is for $5 million a year is also going to help that, because you're just doing enough to get by and to hopefully get a profit to get your feet back underneath you. So
Yeah, and that team's actually more competitive. They were more competitive last year. I think a lot of people expected. So,
and they got a good young nucleus too.
They do.
Like, they
CJ Abrams is a stud.
They have some arms in the bullpen that are disgusting. They got some good pieces there, and they can build. They're just in a really, really tough division. That's the only thing that's killing them. But
yeah, and there's no real explanation for why they chose not to sell. They just chose not to, which I think is good. I think that maybe that value for the Orioles kind of gave them a wake up call. Maybe what they were hoping they were going to get for this thing wasn't quite what was there. But
yeah,
I don't know. And the Lerners have been good owners. They've just had a rough few years.
Yeah,
recovering from that World Series run,
which is worth it, right? I mean, like you made history. Like, you took that team to the promised land, and then you had to tear it all down and start over. But
I mean, the Lerners have owned this team since 2006, and Mark, the son, took over in 2018 when Dad passed. So I think that Mark went for broke, won a World Series, and now they got to kind of clear the decks and start over. But they've got a good core, and good core, new ballpark, which we went to, which was beautiful.
Yeah.
So I think the future there is bright.
Yeah, agree. And then the last thing I have, oh no, sorry, I missed it. I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but Ronald Acuna wants that lifetime deal with the Braves. He doesn't see himself anywhere else but Atlanta. If you're the Atlanta Braves, do you lock him up for the rest of his life?
Yes.
And not like Wander Franco lock up. I'm talking like keep him on your team for the rest of his life.
Wow, we went there. We made a jail joke. I like it.
You're welcome.
No, I mean, if Ronald Acuna says I want to be here forever, I say, okay, how do we get that done?
Yeah, I'm with you.
That guy is so clearly the face of that franchise that we get that done. We get that done yesterday.
Yeah, agree. I mean, if he's going to put up 40 and 70 every year for the rest of his career, I mean, obviously not the rest of his career, but for the next 5 to 10 years, I see this guy doing it. He's a freak. He's an athletic freak.
Yep.
And I do it in a heartbeat.
He does absolutely everything that can be done on the field.
Yeah.
So yes, you want to be here forever? Buckle in. Let's get this done.
Yep. And I mean, the rate that the Braves are going, they've signed everybody to long-term deals pretty much. You might as well just tack a few more years onto Acuna and just keep them. Why
Just
not?
keep going. I mean,
Yep.
they'll be competitive for the next at least 5 or 6 years if they do nothing.
I mean, that nucleus is scary.
It's
what
so
they have.
good. I mean, there's going to be pieces that have to go. Like, not going to be able to re-sign everybody. Like Max Fried could very easily go this offseason. But
Yeah.
then who's next? They're just going to roll another person through there.
Right. Exactly. And the last thing I have, which was a really cool story, it kind of went viral the last few days. The leg amputee Parker Bird from Eastern Carolina makes his Division I debut, and he walks in his first at bat. So he drew a walk in his first D1 at bat after, I think it was an accident or something like that. That
It was an
he
accident
lost
last year. Yeah, he got amputation happened last summer,
and then comes back and plays Division I baseball. Draws a walk, gets to first base. They get a pinch runner for him, and the rest is history. But I mean, what a story! That is crazy.
And the place was going insane for him.
I mean, not a dry eye in the place. So
it was awesome.
So cool.
And then on the other side of that, you had the guy from something state that got hit 7 times in a doubleheader.
Yeah. And 8 at bats, got plunked 7 times.
Yeah, there was a guy, Division I program. It was his debut. He got plunked 7 times in 8 at bats over a doubleheader. Like, blows my mind that could happen to somebody. I want to say it was like a Salem State or some school you probably never heard of. But you could hit 7 times in 8 at bats. That's not on you. There's something wrong.
Right. Well, that's what you sent me a text, and you're like, "Well, at what point does your pitcher back you up?" And then I send right back and go, "At what point does your pitcher stop backing you up because you got plunked 7 times?" Like,
right. Well, I mean, if I'm the coach, I'm looking at the umpires going, the same guy keeps getting hit. Like, are you guys going to do something about this?
Right. Tell him to back up or something. I don't
crap. Like,
I don't know.
Wild.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. But that's all I had for this week. Do you have anything else to add? I mean, other than the obvious, still kind of waiting for Snell, Montgomery, Chapman. The news around is saying the Yankees now have an offer in on Snell. We're just waiting to hear. Montgomery's quiet. Sounds like the Rangers are out on Montgomery.
Yeah, they cannot add more payroll because they're also caught up in this whole Diamond Sports TV thing.
That's a mess too. And that's probably playing with a lot of teams as well, because that's why the Twins have to shed payroll.
Yep.
You know, that could also be another reason why Chapman got a deal today. Who did he sign with? Did he end up signing with the Mariners?
Chapman did?
I don't know.
As of an hour ago, it was still just an internal conversation.
Yeah, I know he's in talks with the Mariners, but I haven't seen
I've seen nothing yet.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah, the Rangers, the Mariners have been discussing maybe signing him because their third base, they got a big hole at third base.
Yeah.
Trading Suarez.
Right. Well, they got was it Josh Rojas, I think?
Yeah, they've got Josh Rojas, Luis Urias are their kind of 2 options. So not bad options, but they're not Matt Chapman.
Craig just said he thought it was Philly.
No. Huh. Well, we'll look that up and get back to you.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know.
And the Cubs and Bellinger are continuing to talk, but Ricketts is saying it's not even a negotiation yet. We're just making sure there's interest.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting to see. And we're still waiting.
Philly would make no sense because you got Bohm over there.
Right.
And they like him a lot.
Yeah. So I don't know.
All right.
But I'm done trying to figure out what these MLB teams are trying to do either. So, I mean, it could be. But, yeah. Yeah. Do you have anything else before we head out?
I got a few things. So, real quick, I want to go back to the Xander Bogaerts thing. So, Xander Bogaerts has officially been moved to second base by the Padres. Apparently, he did not want to go. They were told... Not Matt Chapman. Sorry, the wife beater got at the D. Okay. Anyway, so back to the Bogarts thing. So Bogarts in year number 2 of 11-year contract, he's been moved from shortstop to second base. And is it Hae-Sung Kim that's going to play shortstop for them? It's not Tatis coming back into the infield.
No, it's Kim. I mean, Kim's better defensively there, anyways. It's not
for sure.
Kim
is rock solid, but yeah. So Xander Bogaerts did not want to go, but is going because he's been told to go. Long-term contract that looks really ugly. Is second base the right place for him though?
Well, you can't put him at third because you got Machado.
Right.
You're not going to put Xander at first, are you?
You're not going to move to the outfield, so.
And you can put Cronenworth in the outfield for sure.
Yeah,
otherwise than that, you just DH him. But why are you going to DH a guy you just paid for 11 years? I guess second base is really the only spot you're going to put Xander Bogaerts.
Yeah, it's a really bad demotion for him. And the Padres continue to try to make sense of this, and apparently they have made him available too. So if teams want to make a trade for Bogaerts, he's available because they are.
Bogaerts can't be happy.
No,
I mean, you think about you're going to the Padres to be their shortstop for the next realistically 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
Right. Before he starts aging out. And the Padres were like, yep, you're our shortstop. Like we're paying you to be our shortstop. And 1 year into your career, you're like, oh, sorry, like you're not our shortstop. That I guarantee that did not sit well with Xander Bogaerts.
No, I can't imagine that's a very happy clubhouse. I mean, I think that team's is a bit of a mess right now anyways, because of, Soto's gone and Snell is gone, and that team is kind of circling the drain. And you got some big contracts and big personalities and egos, but it's a mess over there, and I'm sure that Xander's not happy. And I would not be shocked if the Padres find a way to move him and eat some payroll and just get him out of town, because it's I don't think Xander's going to want to be there. I don't think they want him there. And I think they need to just walk away from that contract. But that was a big one.
And there's some teams that could use a shortstop right now. I know Tim Anderson is in talks with the Marlins right now. I mean, Marlins could make a deal for Bogaerts. They have, the prospect capital and stuff to move.
Yeah. Do they have a GM?
I don't know if they do yet or not.
They've got a president of baseball, no GM.
Yeah. Now, if there are a couple teams that don't have a GM, I think
Mets too, I believe.
Yeah, they're just like, we're just going to roll with it.
Yeah, David Stearns is running the whole show, but
yeah. So
anyway, so I think that's a bad look for Xander and a bad situation that'll probably unfold, and I can see him getting moved. Second item is Mike Moustakas is a non-roster invitee to the 2024 White Sox camp. That's a blast from the past. He's trying to resurrect his career.
Yeah.
And lastly, the Anthony Rendon story that came out today.
Yeah.
So I read it and I kind of had to laugh. Of course, he's getting roasted because that's what people are going to react to. But I think what he's saying is what a lot of players feel.
1,000% with you. What was the exact quote? Do you have it right there?
It was, baseball's never been his top priority. His top priority has always been his family. So his comment is, baseball is a job. I do this to make a living. My faith, my family come first before this job. And if I wasn't able to play anymore, I'd be okay with it. So for him, and I think a lot of players feel this way. You reach a point in your career where it's like, this is a job. It is a means to make money. It's a means to provide it for my family. A lot of these guys reach a point they just don't love playing the game anymore, but it's what they do.
Right. And
I don't think what Rendon said is anything that's like earth-shattering and never been heard of before. He's just the first guy to come out and say it.
That's how all of us are, though. Like our jobs.
Oh yeah, that's how the whole world is.
Right. This should be secondary to our family,
right,
and our health and all of that stuff. Right. I mean, like,
yep.
Everyone's career should be. That's how your priorities should be. So you're right. It's not earth-shattering quote.
It's not. But I think people expect
the timing
athletes.
Of it.
Exactly. I think, and it's of course with his track record, it doesn't look good for him to say I don't care that much.
Yeah, right.
But I think that all of us think that these athletes are just like they're in love with the game. They just love the game, and you look at some of these players that basically gave their lives to the game. Tom Brady. Tom Brady gave his life to football. He's got one mother who doesn't even really talk to, another divorce. He committed his whole life to football. Derek Jeter didn't even get married, has no kids, no family to speak of, because he gave his whole life to the game
until after the game. He does
until
now.
after the game.
He's,
Right. And now, then he put his personal life on hold until he left the game.
Right.
Most of these guys aren't like that. These are normal people that have wives and kids and complications, and they have in-laws that drive them crazy. Like, they deal with all the same stuff we deal with. They just play a sport on TV as their job. And I think fans have this romantic idea that these players just love the game. They live the game. They can't wait to be out there. A lot of guys go to spring training going, oh God, here we go again. Like another season. Because it is a job. And it's not a good look for Rendon to say it, but what he's saying, I think, is true for a lot of players. This is a job. I condition my body. I get ready for the season to perform my job. I do this to put food on the table and make money for my family. Nothing more than that. And it's okay.
Yeah.
It's just, I think that it's a shock to fans to think that these guys do not just love what they do.
It is that. And this, again, this is the second time we're saying this about Anthony Rendon. This is not the time for you to say that.
Right. His timing is bad.
You signed a massive, massive contract with the Anaheim Angels, which is a struggling franchise.
7 years, $245.
And you have been on the field 15% of the time since you've signed this contract in 2019 after the World Series. Like, you don't have any ground to stand on when you say, the season's too long. Dude, you play 20 games a year.
Right.
And then you come out and say this on top of that. Like, as much as I agree with that quote, he is not the guy to say that quote.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pick your spots, dude. Like, this is not the spot. This isn't.
So the thing about Anthony Rendon in the last year, what has he done? He's gotten in a fight with a fan. He's complained the season is too long, and then basically said baseball is nothing more than a job. Clearly, this is a guy who's not interested in being in baseball anymore.
You know what?
And may want to consider retiring.
Yeah, he's Trevor Bauering himself right now. He's talking his way out of the league.
So the problem is what he said is 100% accurate, and a lot of players feel that way. It's just he's the wrong guy to say it, given his track record.
Right. And you could also say it differently.
You could.
We all have priorities. Is baseball a priority for me? Yeah. But family and most of the guys, family and God comes first, and then it's baseball. But just like I said, it's family for most of us, and our career secondary,
right,
or third. To our health, your own personal health.
Yeah,
he's just not the spokesperson to say this, unless he's trying to talk his way out of a contract and talk his way off the team.
Well, that's what
that's really the only thing I can think of. Right.
It feels like he's kind of setting himself up to be the guy that kind of opens the door and pulls back the curtain to people because he's planning on making an exit anyways. But
yeah,
it's a shame.
He can't stay on the field anyways.
He's entering the 5th year of a 7-year deal. They've got nothing out of him. Trout's begging for help, and this guy can't get on the field.
Yeah,
which is too bad because he's very talented when he's out there.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I was going to bring up is Mike Trout came out today and said that if the Angels don't make trades, I want out. Well, if the Angels don't make trades to make this team better and compete, I want out.
Well, his quote was, I want to be here. I want to win championships here. I want them to make moves. And if that doesn't happen, we'll discuss what happens next.
Well, okay.
So
you're right. Paraphrased. He wants out.
Trout doesn't want to trade, but he's saying, I would like to see us be competitive, but because I want to stay here. And
we'll discuss it later.
Yeah, or if I have to move on, I will. But the general feedback from his camp is that he doesn't want to leave. He wants to be there forever. He just wants to see this team. Ohtani left. Who you bringing me in to replace him?
Well, there's no Shohei Ohtani, right? There's no Ohtani walking through that door.
No, but you could go sign a hitter and a pitcher, and you'd be, good for less than $70 million a year.
I just don't know what the Angels were doing during that time frame. You clearly had the two best players
you won
of this generation. Not even
you won what 4 out of 7 MVPs and didn't win any playoff games.
If you're not sitting there in the front office being like, well, we got to go for broke here. We have the two best players to arguably walk on the field since the year 2000, and they just happen to be on the same team. How did you not make moves to make your team better at that point?
Yeah, you had no pitching and very little offense. And granted, Rendon being hurt all the time blows kind of a hole in that. But
Agree.
at the same time, who else did you have? Like you had nobody else, no other pitching really to note. You were hoping these two guys were going to carry you all the way to the promised land, and that wasn't going to happen.
No.
Unless Mike Trout's going to he's going to hit in 3 spots in the order and play the whole outfield by himself. You just can't get enough out of one player.
It was the running joke. It's like Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani go 7 for 7 with 7 home runs, and they lose 14-7.
Yeah. Drive in 8 and lose 14-8.
Right. Like, I mean, that was the running joke because it literally happened every single night. It was like these guys were going 3 for 4, 4 for 5, driving in 5 or 6 runs, and then they would lose by 10.
Yeah, here it is. The Angels lose again 7-6, and Ohtani and Trout combined for 5 hits and 6 RBIs.
Yeah. And Ohtani pitches, his bat's not in the lineup. So like, then they lose 1-0. Because like it's just
it's bad.
Yeah, they just could not put surrounding pieces around them, and I don't know why. I don't know why Moreno just sat there on his hands and was like, "What are we doing?"
Yeah, it just seems like that organization is pretty much inept and asleep at the wheel. And Moreno's saying now he's not going to sell the team. He's in. They want to compete, but you've done nothing to show it.
They had the young talent to ship away to get these veterans in to when Ohtani and Trout were there.
Right.
You had Leto. You had Ohapi. Like you have these guys coming up that were serviceable MLB players now, where you could have made those deals for a veteran pitcher, veteran arm to get in there to win, and they chose not to. So
I feel like they're just going through the motions. I'm not sure what they're doing, but
agree.
So I think that Rendon's getting a lot of crap for this, and he probably should personally get some crap for it. But what he's saying, I think a lot of baseball players are saying, yeah, that's how I feel too. I don't think that's news. I don't think that's news to most of us, but I think a lot of fans will be shocked to think that not every ball player gets up every morning and jumps out of bed excited to go play Major League Baseball.
No, but I think fans in the same breath are like, I hope Anthony Rendon chokes on my $12.50 hot dog.
Yes, agreed.
Like, we don't want to hear that, dude. We're paying buco bucks to come see you play, and you just don't give a shit. So, like I said, it wasn't the right guy, wasn't the right time to say that, and it's the second time in a month that we're saying that about Anthony Rendon. So,
he's just not making himself a popular guy.
No, I'm under the impression that he is trying to talk his way out. That's my.
I think if the Angels came and said, "Hey, let's buy your contract out," he'd be like, "Great, let's go."
Yeah, doing it.
See ya. And then 2 real quick items. Manfred came out a couple days ago supporting that the A's will play in a new Las Vegas stadium in 2028. MLB is committed to that plan. We're moving ahead. We don't care what the kind of news is. And the last item is that there are people that believe the Orioles will start the season with Jackson Holliday on the roster because they feel like sending him back to the minor leagues is a waste because he's ripped the minor leagues apart.
Well, and Gunnar Henderson could possibly be on the shelf.
I saw that, and that kind of opens a logical spot for Holliday to fill. So you may very well have Jackson Holliday on the Orioles roster breaking camp, which I don't think the Orioles thought would happen, but here we are.
Yep, and Kyle Bradish possibly on the shelf with the elbow. So
the Orioles are not off to a good start this spring.
No. Also, real quick, Salt Lake City released renderings of a $3.5 billion ballpark complex. So Salt Lake City's ready to go forward for an expansion team. We'll just see what happens there. So we could have the Salt Lake City Mormons here in a few years. So let's see what happens.
What a great team name.
Wouldn't that be great?
And USA Today released their MLB expected win totals for 2024.
Oh,
they expect the Los Angeles Dodgers to lead the league with 100 wins, and they're expecting the Red Sox to win 77 games.
77 more than I thought they were gonna. All right.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Oh boy. Yep.
All right.
Angels the Dodgers are the front runner.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for this week. Thank you for chiming in, joining us in the chat. It was a lot of fun. I'll definitely have to do more of those puzzle ones next week. Those were really fun to do, and I'm glad you guys liked them.
That was good.
So before you go, just make sure you like and follow us on Facebook. You can also subscribe on YouTube. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. We will be back on next Monday at 8, and we will see you all then.
Hopefully technical difficulty free.
Oh, hopefully.
Well, let's hope some free agents sign. See you next week.